36 years, he said, from 1967 to the year 2000. And he's here today to share some of his experiences with us and just have a little chat today. So please give a warm welcome to Bob Nance.
Thanks. I got kind of lost on the down near the Holdeman Hospital there. They had us parking in front of some of the guys that are down there. But I joined the Army in 1966. I went down to join the Air Force in San Francisco when I was in junior college in Napa. And so I was both going to the building down there where all the recruiters were in San Francisco, and I walk in the door. There's a big sign on the Air Force door, by the way, because my dad had an airplane I'd been flying for a couple of years. Said, "Not accepting applications." So I thought, okay. I turned the corner, and my dad was in the Navy, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, and my little brother, 2 years younger than me, was already in the Marines. So I walked in the Marines, recruiter, sat down, and the guy goes, "What can we do for you?" "I'm thinking about joining the Marines." He said, "You got any tickets?" First words out of his mouth. I said, "Tickets? I said, "No, nothing big." He goes, "No, do you got any tickets?" I said, "Yeah, a couple of them." "Can't use you." I said, "Please." So I said, "Okay." I walked out of the Marine recruiter down to the Army recruiter, sat down, and said, "Oh, what can I do for you?" "Think about joining the Army." The guy says, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to be a welder. I've been doing that for 4 years in high school and junior college." He goes, "We don't need welders. We need helicopter pilots." He says, "I want you to come back tomorrow morning. We're going to have an interview for you." So I did. Now, that was on the 20th of December. And I'm on my Christmas vacation. 2 days later, he calls me up and he goes, "Well, congratulations. You've been accepted in Army flight school. We want you to leave on the 27th. That was 4 days away or something. I went, "Well, I got an apartment, a car. I got to do some stuff." And he said, "Well, let me do check." He goes, "No, okay, I got to move back to the 31st of December." Okay. I spent January 1st of 1967 as my first day in the Army. And they sent me to Fort Polk, Louisiana for basic training. I did my 6 weeks, I think, there. Then I went to primary flight school in Fort Walters, Texas, and then advanced flight school in Fort Rucker, Alabama. I graduated from flight school the 15th of December, 1967. Spent a year doing that. I was assigned to Vietnam to report there on the 15th of January, 1968, 2 weeks before Tet, and the unit that I was in had a couple of accidents and lost a couple of pilots 2 weeks before that, and another fellow was with me. We both went up to the 162nd Assault Helicopter Company in Phu Vinh, Vietnam, which was north of Saigon, about 60, 80 miles. And I think the 1st Division was there, and so we flew missions for the 9th Division, what they called, well, we take them in with 5 slicks, the troop-carrying helicopters, and 2 gunships, drop them off into an LZ someplace. Then we go back and shut down for a half hour and then pick them back up again and take them elsewhere. Eagle flights, I think they call them. We were always getting shot at, of course, but it was pretty fun. I didn't know any better. And having we're flying 8, 9 hours a day, and we had the best bar in South Vietnam, I think. So, we weren't flying, we were in a bar drinking beer. And great unit. We went to Dong Tam, which was down in the Delta, about halfway through my tour. And then I was asked to be the a flight instructor in the unit checking the new guys out, besides flying missions. And then I was flying with the gunship guys, giving them check rides. They said, well, why don't you just come over and fly with us? So my last 9 months was flying gunships, Huey gunships. And of course, we all got shot down. Everybody that I know was shot down at least once or twice. A couple crashes, and the unit was extremely, our tactics was really good. That's the reason why I'm here. And we've had several, 3 weeks ago I was in Asheville, North Carolina for our reunion.
Wow.
That was 60 years ago.
Wow.
And there's still about 15, 20 guys and their wives showed up. What's funny, if you ask me where I was this morning 2 hours ago, I'd have to really think about it. My memory has gone downhill. I can remember every little tiny detail of my tour in Vietnam. I mean, when we get together and start talking, well, what about this guy? What about that guy? I remember who I flew with, what missions I was on. One thing I did, I kept a log, a diary of where I went every day, which I still got. And the guys that I was with back there, everybody's pretty healthy, and you know, we get back down there and same deal, talk about the old days, you know. And I spent up till about halfway through my tour before I got a transition into Blackhawks. I was in Stockton. I was first of all in I got out of the Army and I joined the fire department in Napa. Drove a fire engine for 31 years in Napa City. But I also joined the National Guard in Sacramento. And then I was in the National Guard it was aviation unit in Stockton. Then I got a Black Hawk transition, and I flew them for 10 years. And went to Bosnia in the Bosnian War as a medevac pilot for 1 year. Wow. In 1998-99. And great, that was another good deal. I got to fly all over Europe, and they weren't shooting at us. Then, so in 2000, I was on a search and rescue on top of Mount Shasta, and in a Black Hawk, and a storm was coming in, so we knew if we couldn't find these two guys, they probably wouldn't make it for the rest of the week. And we were pushing pretty hard in the snowstorm. The aircraft blades hit the hill, and at 13,000 feet, I rolled a Black Hawk down the side of Mount Shasta, about 300 feet. Got knocked out during the crash, destroyed a Black Hawk helicopter. Took them 3 months to get it off the hill, and about 50 people.
Wow.
They didn't like me after that. I spent too much money on a crash aircraft, so I had 36 years in. I do it in a heartbeat in a minute, and fun coming up here because, you know, I've been around the military for my whole life, basically. And if I'm not thinking about it, you know, it's in the back of my mind by all my military experiences. And making good friends everywhere we go. And coming up here to this, it's a historic military establishment for veterans of the Civil War. What's funny is I was back in Asheville, North Carolina, you know, and a bunch of the guys I flew with were all from North Carolina, South Carolina. They're all Southerners, you know, and so when you talk about the Civil War down there, they get a little different attitude than we got up north. You know, it was the war of northern aggression is what they called it, I think, most of those guys. But they're just like us. Everybody did what they had to do wherever they were at, and I don't have any hard feelings toward it either way. But glad to come up here, and it's always, anytime you're around veterans, you know, we all think the same. And 99% of us, if they came tomorrow and said, hey, we need you to do this, I don't care how old you are 80 years old, we'd volunteer to do it. And I appreciate it. I love being around people like this, and thanks for your service.